Hey y'all, it's been a while for me and for you probably, so let me recap where I was.
I am out of the food industry right now. I decided it was best for me to leave.
Then I'll tell you where I am.
Never thought it would be true, but I do have a rough outline for a book set in the world.
And then I'll let you know what I'm doing about it. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Mix Ray Ray. You can call me Ray. I am an artist, writer, storyteller, and jack of all trades. Spring is upon us, and for me, that always meant dust, pollen, and winter cleanup. The winter for me always brought in time. Too much time. I trip over it, I'm buried in it. I end up building stacks and walls around me in the winter because I tell myself, I'll have time to move it later. And with all of that time on my hands, I use it to think. If you weren't here for the last few videos, I quit my job to learn a new trade. And since August, I've been doing almost nothing but learning how to be a story editor. I've been using freelance sites like Upwork and Fiverr to gain some experience with my writing from others outside of my own. And I'm currently editing a book that's not mine, but will be the author's self-published first book debut of a trilogy. This winter also made me realize some things about myself. I really can't be idle. If I can't run my body ragged, my brain goes into overdrive. And thankfully I had a goal to focus on, but I was so focused on trying to make editing happen as fast as possible that I lost my creative drive. Which leads me to remember the other promise I made to myself here on the channel, the Alphabet Superset Challenge. My Altruni concept alphabet book lost track faster than I meant it to, but that's only like 4/5 my fault. I never stopped staring at the sketchbook. It literally haunts me every day. However, recording them and video editing became a problem. My computer, Cassie, though I built her as a beast, and I built her for streaming and recording video games, she kind of went into a coma. I fixed her up, she's back up and healthy again, but I lost the footage and other personal files I had kept for the art videos. So it's best she stays a regular desktop for now. Not only that, but that stress added to my regularly scheduled winter sads is what made me go into a creative coma in the first place. But I've missed this. Working on the channel, working on art. When I started this art channel, I tried not to think about like subscribers or audience retention. I basically tried not to be a YouTuber about the whole thing. What I really wanted was a place where I could have an open creative outlet that I wouldn't have to judge, but I could look back on my progress and mindset of the time and watch my own growth. And while I don't think that's ever lost that goal, I can say that my creative outlet idea isn't the same as it used to be, which is good. I love that. Creativity should morph and change with time. When I realized what was going on with my art block, and I allowed myself to have that break with no harsh guilt behind it, it opened the door to my creative writing side that I haven't tried to walk through in a long time. Before my video hiatus, I started trying to narrate and illustrate short stories, but that was kind of me, more like just me peeking through the window. I thought writing would come back to me like riding a bike or driving or swimming, but I've learned that it's actually a creative muscle that I have not worked out in years. So I'm going to tell you a story that you've probably already heard. Imagine a child out in the schoolyard. You can see them through the chain link fence, sitting on the ground under a shade tree. They have a stick in their hand, making little divots in the hard dirt ground, making rows and rows of tiny trenches. They're not paying any mind to the other children running around them, yelling and throwing yard balls around to play foursquare. But you look back at the child and they're older now, walking around the middle school blacktop with their friends. There's obviously no sidewalk, but you still see that they managed to form a small formation that leaves your kid in the back of the group, listening intently to all the conversations going on, but not really engaging. As the group sits at the bench tables, the kid you've been keeping an eye on looks bored and left out. They pull out a book from their backpack and start to read. As you see their friends get up and walk away, you notice they don't even care to look back. They don't notice anyone missing, and when you look back, the kid is older again, a teenager, still wholly engrossed in that book. They walk around fellow students seamlessly, weaving in and out of groups and situations without anyone else the wiser. Except for you, that child you've been following the whole way is nearly invisible. They themselves have become lost in the world that they hold in their own hands. They only really look up once they realize they've graduated high school. They aren't the child that picked up that first book. Stories used to be my whole life in one form or another. I have a bachelor's degree in video game design because I have dreams of being a narrative designer for like the next big Legend of Zelda game, my personal special interest and forever obsession. I used to write fiction stories based on things I was going through growing up, but I had to stop because I had to grow up, and the world wouldn't let me live my stories anymore. So I've really enjoyed the time I've had to work on Altruni and the whole universe I can see it becoming along the way. I never thought it would be true, but I do have a rough outline for a book set in the world. I have an anthology book in a concept stage to help me flesh out like essential characters. And in between those, I've been reading again. I started reading books outside of my preferred genres, which, is mostly fantasy, and gathering ideas for non-Altruni short stories. It's felt like playing the updated version of your favorite video game. I can show you all the art concepts I've worked on the Alphabet Challenge for Altruni so far. I'm way past B, I swear. I've even given myself more specific prompts for each letter to give me something to work with once I get to them later. I'm much better at adapting already thought out concepts, so I made the subjects of each prompt, which I call nouns, random. The book I'm working on will probably take me a few years to finish because I'm a hardcore planner with my writing. I don't want to name anything yet, but you can already guess it'll probably be a high fantasy series. If I were to let my dreams take the reins, they would undoubtedly turn into something the length of The Wheel of Time, but we'll have to see as the book progresses. And as much as I would love to spend all day, every day working on this, it will have to take a backseat to the actual work I've been doing, turning myself into an editor. As I said, I was working all winter to build up my skills, and the end of this month will be the official debut of all of my hard work, hopefully. At the end of March 2024, I will be launching my official site, Fable Mason Editing, which offers my editing services to all kinds of writers. It's a basic layout for now as I try to work as cheaply as possible for you and anyone else who wants their writing worked on by a professional editor. I hope to be there not only for novel writers, but also for short story writers and poets. I'll do a site tour when it's closer to launch time, but for now, if you're interested, maybe it's time to dust off some of your old forgotten works and give them another look through. Oh, I also forgot to mention the site won't just be for editing. I'm using WordPress to make the site, so I'm taking advantage of its blog feature to have a place for all of the stories and illustrations I create and narrate here on the channel. The previous one, The Star Archivist, will be up there, and maybe a little more updated. And it will be the home of any future short stories and writings I create for those who prefer to read rather than listen. All of that is to say I do want to return to the channel. I miss running it. It was fun, and the vibe was chill when I was in control of myself. I want to share my creativity with others and get feedback on it. I like creating stories, which is what I want to focus on with this channel. I can't say for sure it's going to be a story-only channel. I might do some more videos like this one, which is more of a paint and chill kind of style video every once in a while. And I definitely think that I would do some more update videos on Altruni when more things are set in stone. I know that with spring in full bloom, summer isn't too far behind, especially here in the South, and I'm sure I'll have so many ideas for videos when the days get warmer. But I have this sort of coded conduct for myself. I don't allow myself to have fun until I know all of my responsibilities are handled. I'm an anxious perfectionist, and I'm afraid I will never change. So until I can get my new site up and running and I know it's something I can keep stable, I don't feel like this channel will have a set schedule. I gave myself until summer to start getting this editing business ran and floating above water. It would be an absolute dream come true if I could. I've always had the mindset on working for myself and living a life where I can set my own schedule and deadlines for things I want to do. Saying it out loud sounds like the most basic dream ever. We all wish for that. But maybe not the being your own boss part. Doing all of this and being a freelancer is way more work than anyone on YouTube, blog sites, or TikTok tells you. It takes a massive amount of self-discipline, man-hours, and elbow grease. I can tell you by the first minute that these people who say they started making thousands of dollars in their first month of freelancing are lying or had way more hands helping them than they say. Growing as a business will take me time, which I would prefer. It gives me time to set like a good foundation for everything I'm building so I can grow it later on with the right money and time. For now, the site is perfect to start out. My only real worry is how I'm going to stand out from everyone else on the internet. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not only an introvert, I am the introvert. No one took the time to explain to child me how socializing works, and I've been really fumbling with it ever since. So I'm asking anyone who has made it this far into the video if you could help me. If you're a writer or have writing friends, I would absolutely owe you everything if you could share this video with them or make the video gain a bigger audience. I want to make this channel, my business, and my life grow into something that works for me rather than the other way around. It would definitely give me more time and energy to work more on my writings and art. So that's been my life up until now and beyond. I hope you were entertained by the video, and I hope to see you guys soon in the future. Until then, stay safe and stay creative.